and we'll call it, we're going to return an integer. We're just going to make our lives easier for the rectangle, and we'll just call calc area rectangle. And right now we're not going to put any parameters in. So let's go and come on. And we'll close this here. So in this particular case, case 1, we're going to do, and we're returning an integer. So what we need to put in here is a variable, an integer, and we'll call it area rectangle 0, and we're going to just here area rectangle equals calc area rectangle. So with the area of a rectangle, remember it's the length times the width in there. So we need to get the length and the width. So what I'm going to do, and we're going to create a function, and I know you like this, called getPositiveInteger. So, and basically it's going to be the same thing, and we're going to call that function in a whole bunch of different things. So we don't need to worry about our error checking because we only have to write it one time. So let's go and create a, we'll call it here, and we're going to do an integer, and we'll just do get pos int. And let's click on this and create it. And let's create that first. Close this here. And it should be down at the bottom. So now notice it put it above it because when I created it above it. So it being calc area of a rectangle. So what we want to do here is we need an integer. And we'll just call it number. So now what we need to do, again, we're going to do a Boolean. Now, do you guys want to make it where need integer or have integer in the while loop? I'll give you your choice. Which one would you like to do?
The easiest.
They're both easy to me. I'm more of a while need the data than or then you would have until not need data or have data. So we can do it. Which way would you? I'm going to do it the way I prefer to do it. So we're just going to put need data or need choice. Doesn't really matter what you want. And this is going to be true. So now we need a while loop, which is going to be a do while. So we're going to keep doing this until we don't need data anymore. So the first thing we're going to do is cout, enter a positive number. And then let's do a cin number. Does anybody want to take a crack at what the need data statement will be? Anybody want to take a crack?
Probably greater than 0.
you're close, it would be less than 0. And we want to make sure that it's not 0. So need data is number is less than or equal to 0. Then we can do if need data and just to be on the safe side, let's put in a new line here. And let's see what happens. So now I claim that we can use this function in a whole bunch of different ways. So let's go back to get positive integer is going to be called from calc area. So let's put in, so we need to do the length and the width. So let's do integer, length, and width. So what we want to do here now is we're just going to do length equals get positive integer and then width equals get pos integer. So now our code is already written for us. We don't have to stand there and write the same code for both the length and for the width. So let's see what happens when we get this. So return 0. For right now, we're going to calc area, so we need another integer called area. Now we're multiplying an integer times an integer, so we're going to get a integer. So the area equals the length times the width. And we want to return area. So let's see what we get here. We have a, please enter your selection. Area rectangle equals area. So let's do a C out the area is area. And just to be on the safe side, we'll put this here. And let's see, what are we doing? We don't have an area rectangle. That's what we need. I'm not a good speller. You can see that. So let's run and let's see if we can calculate the area of a rectangle.
At the bottom, how do they know whether they're inputting a value for the height or the length?
Well, that's a great choice. So I'm going to actually show you. But I want to get this done first. But you're 100% right. So get positive, enter a positive number. So that is the very, man, you guys are getting good. You're too tough for me. I'm impressed. So let's go and do a 1. So we want to do a 1. So your selection is 1, enter a positive number. So let's do -5. So obviously that didn't work, so let's do 40 and 50. And the area is 0. So obviously we were calculating something wrong. But anyway, that's okay. So let's see. Your area is, the area of a rectangle is 0. So we obviously have something, an issue. So let's go back now. You're going to really like this. Let's go back and put in get positive integer. Let's put a parameter in called, it'll be a string. That means we're going to pass a string to this. So we need to do get positive integer. And we want a string, and we'll just call it prompt. And then we're going to change this to prompt. And remember, I was telling you the purpose of functions is to break things down, but it's also usable code, so you don't have to change something and write something for every single time. So let's go in and get please enter the length must be positive, or whatever you want to put in there. Notice the space, and we'll do the same thing here. But by doing this, who asked that question? Was that you, John? About?
It was me, Mike.
Okay, Mike. By doing this, now we can use this get positive integer to do the width, the base, and the height of the triangle, and we can just enter a prompt over here, as opposed to the great question, how do you know what it is in here? So we don't need to do anything else but put in a prompt that we want, and then we can use the same function. So area rectangle, which I obviously spelled wrong. So let's put in 1 and see what happens. So your selection is 1. Please enter the length must be positive. So let's do 50 and please enter the length. Okay, I need to change that to width. And let's do 60, and the area is still 0. So let's go and fix this. Please enter the width. All right, so area equals length times width. So we obviously have an issue with something. So let's see if we're returning something in here. And here's our answer. We're returning 0. So we need to change this to return number. So let's go in and fix that. And please enter the length, 40, and the width is 50. And let's see what we get. The area is 2,000. So that works. So that's good, and we have a issue here. Apparently, I am not in the process of spelling things properly. So now what we can do here is create a double using the exact same code here as well, and not need to rewrite the code. We have it already written in here. The only thing we need to do is change this to a double. So we're going to create a double, get positive double, string, and of course if I knew how to spell, I could get myself a real job. Apparently I'm not. Okay, let's see, double, get positive double, overloaded function. Where am I overloading the function? So let's go and see how I'm overloading it because there's only one in here. So let's go and change this here. And we're going to copy it. And paste it. And let's change this to double. And change this to double. And that's all we need to do. So when we call it, we'll call it with a different prompt. So let me see if we still have that get positive double. All right. I don't know, but I'm going to hit the enter key and see if it disappears. I don't know. I don't understand why. So now we have code that will get a double in here. We just need to do it. And we'll need that. We don't actually need it for the circle. We don't need it for the triangle in there. But now we have the same thing in case we want to get a double value returned in here. So now let's write, the next one is area of a circle. And this is where we're going to run into a problem. So we need to create a double. And we'll call it calc area circle. So we're going to run into a problem here, but I'm going to show you how to fix it. I'll give you a hint. It involves global in there. So that's a hint.
I see you already have in the main.
Have what in the main?
You have calculate calc area circle.
I do. I'll have to look. In the main, I have calc area circle. I have calc area rectangle.
Oh, never mind. Yep,
okay.
Never mind. I misread it.
So that's all right. So now we need a double. And that's going to be area of a circle. Now remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. So we need to calculate, or we need to get r. And this thing is still driving me crazy, but I don't really know why. This did not happen in version 2017, but it happens in here. Hopefully they'll fix that, because it is kind of annoying looking for an error that does not exist. Let's see if it's talking about cannot overload functions distinct by return type alone. Well, we don't have a function called this, so we're not going to worry about it. So let's go in here and we'll do area circle equals calc area circle, and we'll do C out the area, of the circle, and we have a typo. Circle is an area circle. And let's change this to alright. Now here we're going to want to do the set precision. So we only need to do one fixed. So let's do a C out up top fixed. So we already have that. Now we may want to change this to set precision 3. We may the others we want to do. So for right now we're just going to do set precision to 2. Now you don't have to have a separate C out for it, but you can. You can do set precision to 2 in the same C out. Or you can do a separate one, whatever you feel more comfortable with. So let's go to calculate area of a circle. and here's where we're going to run into a problem. So first thing we need to do is create a, let's see, we want to do a radius. So we'll do an integer. And then radius equals get pos int and then we need to return the radius. Actually, we need to turn the area of the circle, so we need a double. Area circle equals 0. So now here's where we're going to get an error. Area circle. Apparently I am not a good speller. I'm leaving out E's and L's and all kinds of things. I'm going to blame it on the keyboard. So we define pi times, and we can do a power or we can do r, radius, times radius. So now we have an issue because we don't know where pi is. You know, so let's go and find out why that's an issue. So pi is not defined. Well, why is it not defined? So let's go back and see where we defined it. We put it in main. Oh, we can't find it anywhere as outside of main. So this is where you would put in a global constant. Because now we can use that in calculate area, and we can calculate circumference. So we're getting this in here. So let's see what happens when we run it. And see, okay, return area circle. Of course, if I put a semicolon, that should help. So let's do something simple. And there's build errors. How exciting is that? So where is the build error? Okay, why is it integer overloaded differs from return? So I'm not understanding that. So get positive double. This is in line 125 and line 13. So let's see what one. I see what the issue is. I copied it and did not change it to double. All right. That should solve that problem. So let's run it again. That's one of the disadvantages of copying and pasting because it's very easy to not change something. So let's go and press 2, see what happens. Your selection is 2. What is the radius? So let's just make it 10. So pi r squared. So this should be 100 times 3.14. So it should be 314.16. So let's see what happens. So the area is 3.1416. So that looks good. So we have some issues in here. Your selection is 2. What is the radius? So we need to do your selection is wherever it's printed and put an end line. So the rest is kind of the same in here. So I'm going to put it on pause and give you an opportunity to ask some questions.